Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Weekly Nerd. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon. We don't know when you're listening to it. We're recording it on a Tuesday evening, but maybe you listen.
Tuesday night.
Welcome. We've got a jam-packed show for you. We've got mostly End Game, a little bit before that. We do have a special guest with us this week named Tyler Gilbert. He's a student here at a school in the area, because apparently I'm not allowed to mention the name.
Come on. Let's give him a big round of applause. Tyler Gilbert.
Tell us about yourself, not your knife company. Save that, and we'll have a mid podcast commercial thing. So just tell us a brief little bit about you.
How nerdy are you?
Ooh, that's a tough question to answer real short. But yeah, real quick, I'm a senior here at
unnamed school.
Yes, at unnamed school.
Unnamed university.
At School of Biblical Proportions.
Oh yeah, in the youth program. And yeah, so one of my favorite pastimes growing up was watching movies. And then it started with, your basics. I'm blanking on it.
Blade.
I wasn't watching Blade.
1980s Captain America.
I mean, I was born in 96.
1960s Spider-Man and Friends.
No, but like
The Indian version of Spider-Man.
The Japanese version of Spider-Man. We could keep going.
No, I'm thinking like the early X-Men movies.
Yeah.
Spider-Man.
Sam Raimi.
Okay.
Oh, yeah,
What a
the
guy.
Raimi
Just watching
Yeah.
Sam Raimi.
It's not. I can see you. No.
Some classics, or what I consider classics, like The Princess Bride, and you're giving me this death stick.
It's an
Now,
atrocious
for
movie.
the people, no, I know David and Sam aren't big fans, but I know you're a huge fan of The Walking Dead.
Oh yeah.
Love I'm a big fan of The Walking Dead as well.
Is that still on?
Yes.
I thought it ended
Yes.
because no one likes it anymore. They started going away from the source material, and everyone was just kind of like, what the heck, man?
People are leaving the show little by little, and
Yeah, I'm kind of disappointed, but I did get a chance to meet some of the cast a little while ago.
Nice.
So that was
which is cool. If you ever check him out, Tyler Gilbert, look him up on Facebook.
Yeah.
He has pictures with Dean Morgan. Oh, Dean
Morgan Foreman. Morgan Freeman.
The guy with Lucille.
no, I was dressed as.
He was dressed as Lucille.
Oh, I thought you had a.
Not as the
No,
guy. He
I
was
was-
literally dressed as somebody named Lucille.
No, I went to Walker Stalker Con as Negan and met Chandler Riggs, who is Carl.
Okay.
Okay.
While I was there, I also got to chat with Iron E. Singleton, who was T-Dog.
Mm-hmm.
I met Norman Reedus. Got to see some really cool panels.
That's cool.
And interact with some of the cast. It was a sweet
Awesome.
weekend.
Awesome.
So he's with us today. He's going to be nerding it up with us today. I mentioned at the top we've got a lot of Endgame stuff, but we're going to start with something else. We talked about this on previous podcasts, of course, that Netflix has canceled all of their Marvel shows except for Punisher, and we're just waiting
And Jessica
any
Jones.
day.
Jessica Jones,
And Jessica
but-
Jones.
yeah.
We're waiting any day now. We know the shoe will fall. And they will be axed as well, probably on the same day that Harper signs. So whenever that
Probably.
happens,
Yeah.
So, however, and Tony, I'll let you take this over. You posted an article about an intriguing possibility. What you got?
It's been said on several different sites that Hulu would be interested in picking up all of the canceled Netflix shows from the Marvel Universe.
But we don't want them to do that.
I would
we
love that.
only
I'd
want
love
we
it.
only want them to pick up certain shows.
Well, they'll notice as they pick up and they produce and they do whatever they need to do. The Defenders needs to be rebooted into something better. I think that Luke Cage and Iron Fist need to have the team up group that they're supposed to have.
Instead of just one show, it should be Heroes.
Instead
for
of
Hire.
one, it should be Heroes for Hire. And I believe that not necessarily Daredevil should link every single one of those movies, but I think they should in a good way.
Daredevil would be the one if you had to choose one show.
Yeah.
Daredevil would be the one that you use because it's the best. I think it has the best casting. It's had the best writing. It's had the best acting. It has been just the best, as evidenced by season 3 getting the best reviews of anything on Netflix, and then they canceled it like 3 days later.
Yeah.
So that's an intriguing possibility. Now, here's the real question: does Hulu actually like? I know they can have certain shows, but that's more because they're showed on Fox, and they have a deal with Fox to do their shows. So my understanding of it would be that they would have to make a deal with Marvel in order to do that. And there might still be some legal things with Netflix, because just because Netflix has canceled a show doesn't
they still
mean...
own the rights to those shows.
Exactly. Yeah. So...
Well, from what the rumor is that they have it for 7 years. And 7 years is a long time.
7 years from now, or 7 years from when it started?
From when it started,
which was that was my first year here, so that was 5 years ago.
Since Netflix started? It hasn't been 7 years.
No, not since Netflix has started.
Since Daredevil, which was your freshman year.
No, it was not 7 years.
It
started in 2015.
We're not saying it's been 7 years.
Right.
They have a 7-year contract.
Yeah,
right.
they have a 7-year contract.
I was saying, how many years have they gone so far?
Okay.
Which I think is 5.
It started in 2015, so it's 4.
Okay, so 4.
All right.
Because it came out. It started coming out right before Age of Ultron.
It came out spring semester of our freshman year.
Yeah.
Well, your freshman year, my first year.
So that does throw a little monkey wrench as far as like what they can do and how much time they have to not even produce a show, but get writers and actors, and if they do want to go a specific route, that's what they can do with the shows. But if because they already have a deal with what was it, Cloak and Dagger, or not Cloak and Dagger?
They have Runaways on.
They have Runaways.
Is that a strictly Hulu one?
Yes.
Okay. See, I didn't know that because I actually didn't watch it.
Yeah, and they do have other ABC properties that go to Hulu. Like they have the Agents of Shield.
Well, right. They have properties, but they're already on a. They have the properties because they're on the channel, not because Hulu has a deal with Marvel.
ABC Studios technically produces these Netflix shows.
Yeah.
Okay.
They're Netflix originals, but if you watch like the credits at the beginning,
don't.
it's actually an ABC Studios production. So ABC Studios, which is the channel producing these shows, Disney still has the rights to these shows, and they could in theory.
Well, ABC is technically a Disney company.
They could go to Hulu and say, "Yeah, we'll make a deal with you, and you can continue these properties."
Money.
Ronnie Chastain mentioned the comment about them going to the Disney streaming service. I don't think so. I think it's more likely that they put them on Hulu because I don't know if Disney will put mature content on their streaming service. And the only way I could see them continuing mature content is by putting it on Hulu as the
I think they could on their streaming service. I think they could. I'm not saying they will, but I think they could because it's still their property. And I know that Disney generally uses a third-party association when they're making their more mature content, be it Netflix or be it Hulu. But with their streaming service, it would not surprise me if they just kind of bring everything under the fold and just go, okay, there is a mature content category, if you want to call it
in which
that,
case, I do think it gets dumbed down
service.
a little bit. And not dumbed down in a way I would dislike it, but like Jessica Jones, you'd probably get a lot of the sex scenes cut out.
Yep.
Which I wouldn't mind.
Yeah, that'd be great, actually.
Yeah.
Because I just think it's a sign of a bad show. Of every single episode, you have to have this to keep viewers' attention.
Have you ever watched Game of Thrones?
Ooh.
No.
Me neither.
Wow.
That's
great.
But like,
That's pretty great.
Okay, and it's not really rated R for any or MA for.
It's violence.
It's mostly
It's
just
violence,
language.
and then something like Punisher, where they're just like, "Hey, let's curse every sentence, every sentence."
I mean, it's Frank Castle. It kind of fits.
Right,
It goes with it.
Right.
Are you a fan of the Netflix series, Tyler?
So, not particularly. I've tried to dive into them. I've watched a couple of, I think 2 episodes of Jessica Jones.
That was your problem.
Yeah.
I'm a couple episodes into.
That's where you started, and that's where it ended.
Into Daredevil. It is not that I have anything against them. I think Daredevil was I'm super behind. Still only partway through season 1. But what I've seen is a good setup and good acting and good casting. But they're not the heroes I want to see.
Yeah.
Who do you want to see?
Yeah, if you had to pick, who would you choose?
Well, I mean, Punisher is a great example, but I don't like the fact that all the advice I've gotten is go through the first 2 seasons of Daredevil
Yeah.
Because season 2 has so much about Punisher.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
Yeah, it does.
That's where he's
I'm like, I want to just be able to watch something Punisher. What was it? The 2005 Punisher movie
yeah.
was fantastic.
Well,
I absolutely loved it.
If you watch Punisher season 1, season 2 of Daredevil introduces the character, but season 1 it's one season where it can stand on its own, and it didn't actually need a second season because there's like its own standalone story.
So you could just go watch Punisher
Right.
season 1. Now I would still suggest watching Daredevil season 2 because it's an exceptionally good TV in my opinion. But
Sure. But with the exception of Punisher, none of the other people they have really draw me in.
you're not drawn in by Charlie Cox.
Wow.
You're not
Well,
drawn
like,
in by whatever Karen's real name is.
See,
The girl.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
You're not drawn in by Foggy with his soccer mom hair.
He does have something.
Sorry.
Dad bod and soccer mom hair.
Yeah.
See, I think I'm in a similar boat as you. When it all started, like I was kind of looking forward to Daredevil, and I loved it when I saw it, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't wait for more. And when they announced Jessica Jones, and I'm like, wow, they're expanding this universe. I was excited, even for Jessica Jones, a character I really didn't know about at first.
Yeah.
And then I watch it, I'm like, this is really not that good. But again, I'm holding out for Daredevil, and I think season 2 of Daredevil came up next.
Yeah,
Amazing.
I believe so.
Amazing. And then, again, Luke Cage and the building up for Defenders. But I think the biggest letdown, I mean, I wasn't all that impressed with Luke Cage and Iron Fist, of course, but the biggest letdown had to be Defenders. Because for 3.5 years or whatever, you built up for this.
Yeah, but they didn't build it like they built the Avengers. They just
Right.
did. It was not as...
Well, the marketing for the Defenders was through the roof over everything else. Because I saw it on Dr. Pepper cans. I saw it everywhere. Like, they were really building up the Defenders as this big culminating moment. And
It
a
was, but I
letdown.
never got the feeling... Now, I agree it was a letdown, but I never got the feeling that, when the first Avengers movie was coming, it was something, when you knew it was coming and you were like, what, they're trying this? They're doing this? That was huge to me. The Defenders, well, yeah, it was big that, okay, they're bringing together these four heroes. I had to think for a second.
Right.
4 heroes together to do this one culminating thing against the Hand and this and that. Yeah, that was cool, but it just wasn't nearly as built up, in my opinion. Like, yeah, they marketed it, but it didn't have the same feel to it as Avengers did or Infinity War. Now, obviously, we all know Infinity War is something entirely on its own, even compared to the first Avengers movie. But yeah, I think in the long run, I would love to see certain properties continue. I'd like to see Punisher continue. They ended Punisher season 2 in a way that it could just end, or it could continue. Right. I liked that, and we've talked about this. I
don't think that was anticipated, though.
Well, no, they're anticipating a season 3.
Yeah.
Every single of one of these shows all anticipated having another season.
Yeah.
And most of them probably had a season 3 already written, or season 4,
right?
But they probably had it already written and ready to go for next season.
Daredevil was, not to say that it was the only one that had a season.
I know their season
four.
4 plan. Their plan was season 3 was the origin of Bullseye, and season 4 Bullseye was Bullseye that we know about.
Yeah.
It was going to be Daredevil versus
and it was going to be the rivalry between the two. Whereas season 3 introduced it, season 4 is going to build on it. And I'm like, I couldn't wait for that. I would love that.
Yeah.
I'd love to see it happen. It's not going to.
I think it would be cool.
I just don't think it will.
No.
But I'd love to see it happen.
No.
Would you like to see it happen, Tony?
I would actually. I think that Hulu is a good enough property that they'll get, not necessarily a number of subscription watchers, but they'll get people to actually watch the show and the series, and I think
if you choose the right properties, people will go watch it.
Personally, I do think Iron Fist and Luke Cage's respective seasons need to end. I think if you continue it, it has to be them together. I don't think you can continue it respectively.
Yeah. I need to know how he's able to shoot golden bullets now.
Well,
yeah.
He can shoot golden bullets at the end of.
My thing is, just forget that even happened.
We're all gonna forget that even appeared in our minds.
I've seen the fight choreography in
Iron Fist is atrocious. Now season 2 was better, but it's not good.
The decision to not give him the mask was so
right because you put it to a stunt double.
Because I've done some stunt work, some amateur stunt work, but I've done some stunt work, and I don't know that I've seen stunt work that bad in